Is it just me, or is the Chevy square body truck and K5 Blazer not the most rugged and completely sexy vintage series truck out there? Today we're going to review a rig on Bring a Trailer that is one of the nicest K10 square body trucks I've seen listed on Bring a Trailer. I've reviewed all the closed auctions in the past 2 years, and very few of this era come anywhere close to the coolness factor and condition of this 1979 K10 Chevy Scottsdale 4x4. Before we launch into today's example, if you're new to the channel, I'm Trey and this is Vintage 4-Wheel Auctions. We vet all the active truck and 4x4 category auctions on Bring a Trailer and highlight only the top tier of vehicles from this segment. So if you're in the vintage SUV market, you'll want to keep an eye on these auctions. With each video, our objective is to discuss and show you what to look for in a vintage SUV and truck and what to avoid. Our hope is that this simple format encourages interaction with viewers on vehicle condition and ending price points. Starting today, we have a 1979 Chevy K10 Scottsdale 4x4 truck. This one has a replacement 350 V8. Originally, it had a 400 V8 from the factory. We'll go through more factory equipment and info with the VIN decoder later in the video. I always like to start with a little history. The third generation Chevy and GMC CK trucks were introduced in 1973 and had a 14-year run ending in 1987. These trucks are affectionately known as square bodies for the obvious reasons of the boxy square design and square wheel openings. The odd thing is when they were introduced, they were actually called the round line by Chevy. This design was a huge departure from earlier models, both visually but also from a safety standpoint. The comparatively larger glass area improved visibility for drivers. Also a first with a square body, Chevy introduced the C30, which was the first factory crew cab offered that led the way for modern heavy-duty trucks. I've never owned a square body truck, but I did have a square body 1989 K5 Blazer that was literally one of my favorite cars of all times for the drivability, but most importantly, it just looked cool. Interestingly, one very similar to mine just recently sold on Bring a Trailer for $47,500 in May. I'm glad to see these modern classics are getting their due. We already mentioned this K10 has a replacement V8. It also features a 3-speed automatic transmission. The truck's finished in a black paint over red vinyl upholstery. This one's located on the East Coast in Prince Frederick, Maryland, and is being sold by a seller who's active on the site with 2 listings and 11 auction wins as a buyer. I've said this in previous videos, but it's worth repeating. Part of why you see auctions bring big money on Bring a Trailer is that it really is a community. You not only have potential buyers and commenters vetting auction vehicles, but you also have auction history with active sellers that provides peace of mind when you're potentially buying a vehicle. A lot of times if you're buying from a private party on AutoTrader or a similar website, you don't really know who you're dealing with. You've got 3 days left on this auction. There are 7 bids to $27,000 and there are currently 12 comments on the auction. With the current high bid price and some of the comments I'm reading from interested buyers, I suspect this K10 is going to do extremely well price-wise. Let's look at the pros and cons of this 1979 K10 pickup. First with the pros. This K10 has a replacement V8. It's also undergone a cosmetic and mechanical refurbishment under previous ownership. This is a Scottsdale trim package, so it has chrome bumpers, mirrors, sliding rear window, Scottsdale fender badges, and also dual polished exhaust outlets. It also has a bolt-in liner to protect the floor bed. This pickup is finished in black paint, which really contrasts nicely against the red vinyl upholstery. This rig also has the 15-inch rally wheels mounted with K02 BF Goodrich all-terrains, giving it a stout off-road look. From the initial pictures, this K10 appears to be in great cosmetic condition for the age, and with listed mechanical work, it really has a lot going for it. Looking at work done on this K10 Scottsdale, the auction list, the replacement V8 engine already mentioned. This is a bit unusual. I don't see any additional detail listed other than the truck is said to have received a cosmetic and mechanical refurbishment under previous ownership. Typically, sellers line item what work has been done and what needs to be addressed. Seller may have provided more information in the comments, so we'll make sure to review further later in the auction. A review of the cons would include a seeming lack of detail on what work has been done. There is no Carfax listed with this auction, so it's not possible to understand ownership history. The vehicle odometer is currently set to 37, is being sold, true mileage unknown. I have no doubt if these factors were present, this K10 would be drawing even more interest from the original purist crowd of potential buyers. The last drawback of this K10 Scottsdale is that I saw in the comments that it does not have air conditioning. Now, this is likely not going to be a daily driver for the next purchaser, but depending on where you live, not having AC could be a non-starter. That said, vintage air does make a great retro retrofit AC system for these rigs that's pretty reasonable. It's around $2,000 or so. I've linked Vintage Air in the description for anyone interested. One interesting thing I see in a lot of the C and K pickup auctions is a VIN decoder. With this rig, the VIN decoder provides K, which means four-wheel drive, R for the original 400 cubic inch V8, which has now been replaced with a 350 V8, 1 for half ton, 4 for pickup versus 5 for the K5 like I owned, 9 for the model year, and 1 for the assembly plant. I don't know about you, but as a vintage car lover, I find it so interesting to see these build specs and how the vehicle is kept consistent over the years or been modified. Before we get into the pictures, we always review the comments section first. As I've said on previous shows, this is a best practice that can save you time when you're looking through pictures. The Bring a Trailer audience has extensive knowledge on these marquee vehicles and will often call out areas of concern. Typical areas could be rust, paint or mechanical abnormalities, or potential mechanical watchouts. This commenter says this is a proper example of a K body. Another commenter asks for a driving video. This is very common on Bring a Trailer. I'm actually surprised this was not part of the original listing. There's nothing listed in the comments about what specific work was done with the refurbishment. If I was interested in potentially purchasing this K10, I would definitely make sure to ask in the comments. All right, so taking a look at the pictures, coming out of the gate, extremely strong with this first picture, just highlighting this square body. Such a sexy look. This one really highlights the overall square design, but also those square wheel openings I was talking about earlier in the video. The black over red is period specific and looks really tasteful. And this is it. Picture 3, that's the money shot. You really can't beat the boxy, rugged design of this 1979 K10 pickup. Picture 5 gives a nice profile view. You can really see the classic styling on this long wheelbase truck. Picture 7 gives a nice view of the chrome trim and bright work. Also in picture 7, you can see the timeless design of the square body Chevy. For the trucks, they remained relatively unchanged from 1973 to 1987. For the K5s, the styling extended a few years to 1991. Typically, I'm a big color guy, but looking at picture 9, this black just pops. The dark paint contrasted with the chrome accents, this one really stands out. In picture 14, you get a nice close-up of the grille. Like I said, these square bodies enjoyed a 14-year run from 73 to 87, and really the only thing that changed much was the grille over the years. Classic view with picture 18, really highlighting that Scottsdale badging. Now, it's my understanding the egg crate grille was unique to the 1979 K10. Picture 24 gives us a nice view of that. Picture 34 is helpful from a couple of different perspectives. 1, you get to see the sheen and shine in the paint. 2, you also get to see the square wheel openings. And then of course, one of my favorites is the 15-inch rally wheels mounted with the K02 tires. This looks really stout. So moving ahead, in picture 60, we see the bolt-in bed liner. A nice addition to this vintage pickup. Love picture 66 with the BFGs contrasted against the beautiful black paint. Is it just me or anyone else excited to jump into the interior? Looking at picture 70, like I said, this one's got the period-specific red vinyl upholstery. The auction listed this has had a cosmetic and mechanical refurbishment. It really shows. For a single cab pickup, these K10s were spacious. You can see in picture 74, this reupholstered interior is durable. This is going to last a long time. Looking at picture 79, they highlight the smoker window. Put it in the comments. Anyone else miss these? And then in picture 83, all the plastic and vinyl paneling looks in great shape. Then looking at picture 85, I love that the dash, shifter, and steering wheel really remained unchanged from 73 to 87. My 89 K5 looked almost identical. I like the view in picture 91, clearly showing the Scottsdale trim. This is also the area that I mentioned earlier where you could potentially install vents for the vintage air. Picture 102, we see that the carpeting all appears new. Moving ahead to 107, nice view of the 350 V8 block engine. These Chevy 350 V8s were bulletproof. This is going to last a long time. Picture 114 starts the series of undercarriage pictures. Like I said, I wish there was more detail on what the refurbishment included, but this looks really nice. 115, a different angle, but same thing, just very clean undercarriage. 119 gives a nice length view of the undercarriage. Exceptionally clean here. Most people with more modern cars would be envious of this undercarriage. Looking at picture 131, I just love the originality of this, despite the paint job with this GM factory branding. I've said it a few times now, but these square body trucks didn't change much over the years. My 89 even had this same set of GM keys. Taking a look at pricing for this K10 Scottsdale, going back 2 years, the high water mark for a K10 Scottsdale was $24,600 for a vehicle sold in May of this year. Obviously, this is a good example of the market moving since then because the rig is currently sitting at $27,000 with 3 full days left on the auction. If we look at the overall high for a K10, an auction that ended in February closed at $33,250 for a body-off refurbished 1979 pickup. Based on the strong bidding history with this Scottsdale K10, I think we could see a new record high for a K10 come auction close on Friday. So we've walked through the highlights on this 1979 K10 pickup. You've got cosmetic and mechanical refurbishment, incredibly clean undercarriage with no signs of rust, beautiful black over red interior color combo. Like I said, I think this one's gonna break price records on Bring a Trailer. So what do you guys think about this Chevy K10 Scottsdale pickup? Also, we're a new channel, and if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. This definitely goes a long way to inspire the creation of future content. Thanks again for watching. See you again for more vintage four-wheel drives.